In this video, we are going to perform another analysis onto our datasets, and we are going to check which are the most busy month or in which month guests are high. So I'll just write here which are the most busy month. Busy month in terms of influx of guests, or in which month guests are high. So we need to analyze this now. So I'll just put here a question mark and run it. Then now we can see here are the analysis that needs to be done to check which are the most busy month. So if you remember, we created this data results, and I'm going to call the head to it, and we can see this is what we got in the case of data resort. So this is the data that is related to resort hotel. Now what we are going to do is basically we are going to get the number of guests that we will have, and based on that we are going to refine the data, and at each month we are going to check how many guests has arrived to each of these hotel. In the previous video we did something like that, but in that case we checked for price of the hotel on each month. Now we will check how many people came at each month. So let us get started. So first of all, I'll take the data resort. So this is the resort data. So hotel is resort hotel here. So we also refined this data in the previous video. If you saw at the top, we refined the data. We differentiated resort hotel and city hotel. So I'm taking the resort hotel first, and here I'm going to get the column which is arrival month, the same concept like arrival date month, which contains the month at which the guest has arrived, and I'm going to count it. So value counts, and then I'm going to reset the index. Now this will be enough to give us the index, which is nothing but the month and the people that come at that month. So at August, in our resort hotel, 30 to 57 were the guests that came at August. So I can just store it in some variable, let's say Ross resort, and now if I print it, then you will get the same information. So here you can see the name of a month and the number of people or the guest that has just booked and stayed on that resort hotel. Now you can see the column right here. The first name for the column is index, and the next name is this arrival date month. So I don't want that. I want different column name for it. So Ross resort, just take the variable and call columns to it. So columns here means the columns name. So columns I will first give, since this is the month name, so I'll give month, and the next column is for the number of guests. So number of guests. So I can just give this, and now if we print the final result, then Ross resort, so you can see the first column name is month and the second one is the number of guests that have arrived to that resort hotel. Now we can do the same in the case of city hotel. So in fact I can just directly copy it for the city hotel and I'll paste it. So it will be for city, so replace resort with city, and the data resort is for resort hotel, and data city is for city hotel. If you remember, we created it at the top. So here city hotel has been made by just grouping that data. So I'll just take it, data city, and now I'll rename it. So Ross city, I'll just rename the column, and now if I print the Ross city, then we can see the month name and the number of guests that have booked and stayed on city hotel now. So the down here was for the resort hotel, now we made it for the city hotel also. So now we have this information. Now next thing what we can do is we can merge these two information. Like we can take this Ross city and we can take this Ross resort and merge them into one. So let us do that. So this is merge to data frame. Which are the data frame here? The first one is Ross resort, which contains the information related to resort hotel, and Ross city, and this contains the information related to city hotel. So what we can do is take the Ross resort, so Ross resort, and call the merge function, merge. So merge function is defined in pandas, we can do that, and Ross city. So this command will take the Ross resort, merge with Ross city. So basically take this data frame, it will take this data frame and combine with this data frame. And if you combine with this data frame, then you can see the month is exactly the same as in the both data frames. See here, the month value is exactly the same. So we want to merge on the base of month. So we will give the on parameter saying this way we want to merge. Now if I run this, then you can see a single data frame has been created with the number of guests for resort hotel and number of guests for city hotel. So now the month name was given perfectly, but this number of guests X and number of guests Y, I want to change it. I want to change it to number of guests in city resort and something like that. So I'll just store it on some variable, let's say final Ross. I'm kind of like out of the name at this point. So final Ross, so it is kind of a both the resort hotel and city hotel. So all the guests at each month has been inside this final Ross, and I'll just assign the column name to it. So first I want to give the month, first column name will be month. Second, I will give number of guests in resort. So first one was a resort hotel, and the second one will be number of guests in city hotel. So this was city hotel and the first one was resort hotel. So if I run it, and finally we can print it now. So final Ross. So finally we have this information of the number of guests at each hotel at every month. So we get this information now. So next is, you can see this month has not been sorted, same as before. So previously also we sorted the month by using this created, that is the function that we create by ourselves. So let us use this same function to sort the month, and our name was sort month. So let us call it right here. So function was sort month, and let us give the data frame that needs to be sorted, which in our case is final Ross. So let us give that final Ross, and which column you need to sort, it is month column. So final Ross is the entire data frame. So from this entire data frame I want to only sort this month. So let us give the month to it. Now If I run this, then you can see now it is sorted. At here it was not sorted because it was August at first and so on, but now we can see it is sorted with the January information at top, and then February and information, and March and till December. So January information is right here. So at the top you can see the entire row is sorted. We don't want only the January to be at top, but entire thing that is related to be at the January should be at top. So January and its number of guests at each hotel is sorted, and it is right here. So we sort it now, so I can store it on some variable after we sort it. So I'll just say final rows onto the same variable. Now if we print this variable, then you can see the month has been sorted, and we will get the guest, the number of guests that have arrived and stayed on each of these resort hotel. By just saying this also, you can visualize, like we can clearly see number of city hotels are, like in the case of this February to May, the number is quite higher. And in the same case in the resort hotel, at the same month, like February to May, we can see the reduced number comparatively to the city hotel. So that is the analysis that we can do. Now if we want a better analysis, what we can do? Obviously we can plot, and plot is important thing to do. So let us plot it. So here I'm going to take the data that needs to be plotted, which is final rows in this case, and I'm going to plot line plot. So I'll take the final rows, which is the data frame that contains the entire information. Like this entire information, I'll take it and I'll call plot function that is defined inside the pandas library, that will take the first argument as a kind. Kind is like what type of diagram do you want to make, and I want line diagram because I want to see the trend, like from January to February, is there change like in the number of guests. So for that trend I want the line plot. Now let us give the x. X is basically the label, or not a label, but that is the thing that you want to plot in a x-axis. So I want month in x-axis, and I want y-axis to be the number of guests. So this should be my y-axis. So I'll just copy it. The first one should be this, and the next one I want is this one, number of guests in the city hotel. So I'll copy it first of all, and I'll paste it right here. So finally it should be also string. So finally we have this plot. Let me put it down. So this much is our code. This code will take the data frame that needs to be plot. We will specify what kind of a plot do we want. The x, basically we want a line plot where we want the month versus the number of guests. So month should be in the x-axis, and the number of guests that have booked and stayed on each of the hotel should be y-axis. Now if I run it, then we have the plot again, and see here this plot have number of guests in the city hotel that is comparatively higher than the resort hotel. We can clearly see it right here. So we can have a conclusion that the city hotel has more guests during spring and autumn, when the price is also higher. So during that time of spring and autumn, the prices is higher, or also the highest, and at that case city hotels are like they have the huge number of guests. Maybe that is the reason the city hotels are basically blooming. And in July and August, during this time, we can see that there is less visitor, although the price is higher. We can compare this plot with this one, which is right here, the prices. So this was price plot that we plot previously, and this was the number of guests. So we can take both of these diagram side by side and we can have a conclusion. So guest numbers for the resort hotel, you can see these are the resort hotel guest, and they kind of have slightly go, that is down from maybe June. From here we can see from this May till maybe this position it is slightly down, and if we compare this same position on our up diagram, then you can see the price is the highest at that time. So price is highest, and at that time, in the same time, the number of guests has also been lower in the resort hotel. So we can have this information, these insights. This will be very much important because maybe the price is so higher that guest number has decreased at that time. So maybe we can have some lowered in the price so that we can have also this resort hotel blooming at this point of the time. So this way we can do several analysis just using these visual insights. Now in the next video, what we are going to do is we are going to check another thing through our data sets, like how long do people stay at the hotel. So how can we just make a changes in the hotel so that we can make people to stay longer at our hotel, because that is important thing while talking about the businesses related to hotel. So we are going to check how long do people stay at our hotel and what can be done in order to make that changes so that people will stay longer at our hotel.